Hello YouTubers and iGoogler pluses. Yeah, this week there's been a couple of real cracking stories in the press, and I had to say something. It's just one of those days where you go, oh, I've got to make a video. It's just too exciting. Yeah, the first one, funny enough, is over in Canada, over in Toronto. The mayor, his name is Rev Paul, and he's been taking drugs and he's an alcoholic. Yeah, I'll try and put a picture up of him now. If you're looking at this picture, which I hope I found, yeah, it says in my paper that he's 44 years old. There's no way that man's 44 years old. He is older than that, surely. I mean, there's no way. No way. Anyway, beside the point. The thing is about this guy is he's apologised, and fortunately he says, well, you know, he's saying he wants to be rehabilitated and all the rest of it, and he's found Jesus. Yeah, he found Jesus. Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? He's found Jesus. So, you know, they go, oh, he's found Jesus. Yeah, absolute cunt, but he's found Jesus. Okay, the second story I want to talk to you about is a real doozy, if doozy's a word. Right, yes, it's classic this. It's the born-again Christian. Yes, it's the co-op boss, you can see out there, the co-op boss, Paul Flowers, who's also, no less, a minister of a Methodist Church, and also a counsellor, or was a counsellor, and well, still is actually a Methodist minister, although he has been sort of told he can't go back at the moment. He did say he wanted to go back and address the public at Christmas. Yeah, so save them mince pies and throwing them at him. It's going to be interesting. Now, what's he done? If you don't know this story already, well, he got a job. Apart from being a minister and a counsellor, he also got the job as chairman of the Co-op Bank, which is a very British bank, cooperative society. It used to be an old supermarket, you know, a cooperative supermarket, very sort of Labour Party, socialist type of cooperative type thing. And anyway, that's beside the point. They went into, like most supermarkets, into banking, and there he is. They gave him the job of being its boss. Yeah, this man was, in his youth, a bank clerk for about 3 years. That is his entire banking career. That's all he knows about banking. And yet, they gave him the job. Why? Well, because he's a minister, I suppose. Judging by the other characters in the plot, his boss at the time, well, the man that employed him, who led the committee that employed him. According to him, he was a very good orator, both in public speaking and in the ministry, which leads me to think that the person who employed him was probably part of his ministry. Very, very likely. Doesn't say that, but I am really jumping the gun a bit now and assuming. He got his job because he's a minister. And what's he done? Oh, this is great, this is great. Well, to start with, if we go back a while, when he put his computer in for servicing, they found a load of, they don't say illegal material, what is it? Inappropriate material on it. Well, I'll show you this picture of the guy back in 1979 when he was a younger vicar or minister or whatever they are in Methodist churches. Yes, as you can see from this picture, he looks a bit like one of the village people, doesn't he? I think they must have been his heroes at the time. Now, for those of you too young to remember the village people, YMCA and all that, you know, YMCA, young man and all that, the clue seems to be there in this very picture. He looks very much like he's based himself on them. Anyway, it's sort of proven today because this material consisted of a lot of homosexual images, which in themselves probably inappropriate for a minister, but not if you're a homosexual. I have the assumption, however, that it was quite young these boys were. I don't know, I didn't see the images. So anyway, beside the point, he got in trouble over that to start with. Since then, what's he been doing as the co-op boss? Well, the co-op bank has got into real trouble. Its first 6 months this year, it was £700 million down, and that's gone over £1 billion now, I believe, in debts. So that's a lot of money. Now the government gets involved then, and they call him up and they say to him, what's his name? Flowers, Paul. I said, here, Paul, or Mr. Flowers, whatever, or Reverend Flowers, or Minister Flowers, whatever you call them. Pastor? I don't know. Don't know much about Methodist churches. Anyway, I do know that they used to hate things like alcohol and things like that. The Methodists were very sort of teetotalers and quite dull, traditionally. But not Mr. Flowers, it seems. He likes a good old bit of the old drugs. He got caught doing a drug deal. He also apparently has been spending money on rent boys and hiring a hotel in Manchester, this posh 5-star hotel, where he took his rent boys and gave them up to £650 a night, which not bad money. Even I might be tempted, you know. No, not with him, but you know, no, perhaps I wouldn't. Anyway, I've totally lost the track now. Ugh, get that image out of my head. I'm coming back to you. Anyway, this guy has been in trouble before. Back in 1988 to 1991, I think it was, there was a case in Bradford where a load of children were taken into custody, as it were. They were taken into care because their parents were apparently doing satanic abuse, satanic things. And this was a really big case at the time, and he in fact was the vice chairman of that particular case at the time, and absolutely no evidence of this was found at all, and it was a huge scandal at the time. And he was one of the infiltrators, one of the people responsible for that. So he's had a bit of a career of being a bit weird. And apparently he spent an awful lot of time looking at porn, going to parties and doing all these outrageous things that you just don't do as the chairman of a bank. But the best thing, I think, is when he went to see people in, went down to Parliament to speak to their select committee that they put together so that they could quiz him about his bank. And I think that was very telling at the time as to what an utter wanker he really was. And it's, once again, I'll put the little bit of clip of that at the end. Hopefully I'll find it. I haven't done it yet. But once again, it is a classic case of people thinking that ministers, people of faith, you know, anybody, archbishops, whatever, they are such scumbags, and yet people refuse to believe it. The internet porn case with him, it was covered up. Once again, it was covered up and swept under the carpet because they didn't want it to be embarrassing. Well, it's pretty embarrassing now, isn't it? Both for the Methodist Church, for the Co-op Bank, and, well, for me it's great fun. However, let's get that bit together. I'll see if I can put it on at the end. Peace for now.
Something was clearly wrong earlier this month when Reverend Flowers appeared in front of MPs to answer questions about the bank's near downfall.
What's your total asset value?
It's about just over £3 billion.
I'm talking about the assets, so we're looking at the balance sheet
assets
here.
too.
But appeared to know very few answers.
Your total assets in June 2013 are listed at about 47 billion, just to give you an idea.
A banker and pillar of the community involved in crystal meth could be a storyline from the American drama Breaking Bad, not what you'd expect inside the Co-op. Yet a day after his performance at the Commons, Flowers sent a text saying, "I was grilled by the Treasury Select Committee yesterday and afterwards came to Manchester to get wasted with friends." In another, he boasted of how he was snorting some good stuff. And last week, he said in a text, "I'm on Ket tonight."